call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Next agenda, or first agenda, is the approval of the regular meeting from July, minutes from the regular meeting from July. I can get a motion in a second. Thank you, David. Paper, rock, scissors, who wants it? JB, thank you. Is there any discussion, any changes that anybody saw? Nope. All right. All in favor of approval? Yeah, I should say also Jerry Barron, Director Barron's not here. JB does have his proxy, so you'll see her hand twice every once in a while. Okay. You're welcome. Did you two hand vote? Thank you, JB. Okay, got it. The next one is the work session on the 15th. Have a motion for, thank you, Jackie, second. Sandy? Jeff's trying. Any comments on the work session minutes or changes? Nope. All right, all in favor? You did good. All right, those are approved as well. Joint Advisory Committee reports, Recreation. Yes, sir. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you all. Here to introduce myself, I'm Robert Williams, the new chair, taking Deborah's place of the Rec Committee. I kind of muddled my way through that first meeting, so this will be short. The meeting started at 4 p.m. Minutes were accepted. Current business was Tom Judson. He provided updates to the gun range renovation. New business, Tom also gave the joint committee training. Larry Lapardo was voted in unanimously as secretary. All amenities were found to be in good condition with the following comments. Metfield all looked great. Loch Lomond Recreation Area and Branchwood Complex and Trail, some shingles on the pool building need replaced, and the furniture at the dog park is looking rough. Some of that furniture, by the way, I believe is just donated. Baseball field has broken fence on the corner on one side nearest the fish hatchery. Kingsdale, the pickleball net needs minor repair. This will help. Gear Garden water bottle filling station needs to be repainted. Let's see, that's in Blowing Springs. Lake Avalon, all looking great. Lake Anne, board needing replacement on the large fishing dock. London Park, all looks great aside from a gravel bar. Tanyard Creek, posts in the parking lot were damaged, needing replacement. And staff reports, Rick Eccles, the June Ranger contacts or July Ranger contacts were at 9890, which is second highest recorded. John, trap and skeet on par with last year's attendance. Trap machine repaired by staff members. Jessica Anson gave the report for Joan. Tennis Pro has left, and the replacement starts in September with hopes to attend one of our meetings soon afterwards. The tennis court resurfacing is underway. Youth tennis starts the week of September 9th. October Flea in the Park is approaching, and there's still some spots open. That's it. That's all I have. Thanks.
Tom, you got legs.
For the Lake Committee, this is the summary that was provided. We now have 4 functioning aquaculture ponds to raise our own stock for the lakes. The biology staff presented the annual largemouth bass assessment survey. Once again, we have too many small bass, and we're taking actions to improve the situation, including removal of excessive grass carp, implementing fencing in areas to encourage aquatic vegetation growth. This report is available on the POA website. Tom Judson conducted a committee training. Dave Adams of the NWA Boat Expo spoke to the committee about a potential boat show. No decisions were made, and this issue will be taken up at the next meeting. And the committee submitted the 25 budget recommendations to the POA board. And that is it.
Thanks, sir. Miss Ruth, golf?
Okay, golf advisory met on August 14th, and Tom gave his advisory orientation, so he covered all three within 3 days. Daryl Muldoon reported that July was a very hot month, but golf rounds were close to July of 23. Performance golf rounds were slightly down by 27 rounds from last year. Member rounds are up, and guest rounds were down from last year. Year-to-date rounds from the record up from record-setting 2023 rounds by 3,450, and the pro shop ended the month at 95% budget, and I think the shortfall's got a lot to do with Kingswood being closed, but it is now reopened, and it's beautiful, so check it out. AJGA National Golf Tour of Juniors 13 to 18 will be here next week, Thursday through Monday, Labor Day, and from all over the world. And they are all over the world, and some are here already. We've talked to a few of them. And yes, we still need volunteers, which seems to be a recurring theme. Golf course maintenance with Graham Kornmeyer. Scottsdale and Brittany Greens were co-aerated. 5.2 acres of sod was being laid on winter kill spots on all courses. Country Club number 4 green was expanded to its original design, adding 2,000 square feet to its size. A lot more putting, folks. Fall fertilization will be also applied, and soil sod and spring trial for the Highlands number 18 is coming along, and obviously that number 1 has been opened where they sodded it instead. Tenured Bermuda grass is fully grown in and is being mowed, so looking good there as well. Old business, the committee came up with their recommendations for the board for budget. Sprigging fairways and tee boxes, understanding that the sod to spring process machine should be purchased first is first item, and leveling tees and tree program to replace trees taken out by the course that change the integrity of the golfing experience. Not one for one, it's just where they changed the situation. And next meeting will be September 11th, right here in the boardroom. Questions?
Thank you,
All right,
Ruth.
you bet.
The volunteer for the junior event, if you haven't done that before, it's pretty awesome to watch these kids play golf. Yeah, yeah. Beth, finance.
I apologize. All right, for the financial overview for July, as normal, all the financials will be posted on the website. We'll start with the consolidated overview for just the month of July. So this is POA and water combined. Had revenue of $3,789,000, which is just under budget and over prior year. Expenses of $2,623,000 was just over budget in prior year. With a positive EBITDA of $621,000, which was under budget for the month and under prior year. But looking at the year-to-date view, you can see that we're still way ahead of revenue on year-to-date from budget and prior year. Expenses, we are better than budget and over prior year. And our positive EBITDA year-to-date consolidated is $3,118,000, which is well over budget and prior year. So looking at the POA only for the month of July, our revenue was $2,633,000, which was under budget and over prior year. Better in July, member transfer fees, investment income, and assessments. Worse was F&B revenue, and that is because we had budgeted that BV65 would be open in July, and it was not, and there was $95,000 of revenue budgeted for that. Golf fees were $64,000 worse with the heat, and also with the mixture of more members and less golf than what was budgeted. Resale of lots was $21,000 worse in the month. Looking at operating expenses for the month only, they exceeded budget and prior year. Better than budget was credit card charges and utilities. Worse than budget, supplies was 43,000 worse, which was mostly fertilizer. Maintenance and repairs was 44,000 worse, and that was pretty much all with golf maintenance. Education enhancement was 12,000 worse, and that was just a timing issue. It's still better year to date. Salaries, wages, and benefits was 12,000 worse in July. So looking at the POA only, year to date, revenue of $16,710,000 is still over 500,000 better than budget and better than prior year. COGS is about the same as budget and prior year. Expenses is just a little bit less than budget and over prior year, with a positive EBITDA of 813,000 year to date, which is nearly 900,000 better than budget and a little less than prior year. And switching to water, for the month of July, the revenue was $1,156,000, which was right at budget and better than prior year. Capital buy-in fees and new service connections continue to do better. Water sales and box sales was worse than budget in July. Operating expenses for the water in July was better than budget by about 50,000 and right at prior year. Meter installation materials, I think a month or two ago, I said there was a timing difference, and you can see that it did get better as promised, 39,000 better this year. Professional services is better. Worse than budget was maintenance and repairs, barely. Credit card charges and interest were worse than budget. And year to date for the financial performance for water year to date is $6,853,000, which is better than budget and prior year. 486,000 better than prior year. COGS is 105,000 better than budget and 11,000 more than prior year. And expenses, 16,000 better than budget, 247,000 more than prior year, with a positive EBITDA of 2,305,000, which is 415,000 better than budget and 228,000 better than the prior year. For the second quarter, we had to calculate our loan covenant compliance debt ratios, and we are in more than compliance. For the cash flow leverage ratio, the bank requires it to be not greater than 3.5, and we're not even 1.0, so very compliant. Debt service coverage ratio, the bank requires it to be 1.25 or greater, and we're at 4.23. Looking at cash, we have $7,767,000 altogether. Water operating is $2.7 million. Reserves is right at $1,035,000. POA operating is almost $3 million, and reserves is $1,063,000. And the one pager to the right, you'll see that the POA without water is exceeding EBITDA budget by $884,000. We did not borrow any more on the loans in July, so those remain at the same amount as they did in June. And to the left, you will see the departmental variances to budget year to date. And I'll let you just look over those yourself. Do you have any questions? All right, thanks.
Thank you, Beth. Erased it.
Nobody signed up, but there are.
Yes.
You might want to ask.
No emails or signups, and I see there's some people. Did you want to speak on anything? I know you didn't. Do you folks in the back? No? You good? Okay. All right, moving on. Proposed new policies under review. Tom, you want to take that?
in working with the Rules and Regulations Committee, we are recommending the approval of 2 new policies. One is policy 2.09, which is appointing new interim director, and policy 2.10 is meeting to elect the board chair and vice chair. In both cases, these policies are really putting into code what we've done and used and experimented and refined over the years. That way we can have something concrete in place so that we ensure that it's done in the correct manner all the time. At the Rules and Regulations Committee meeting from earlier this month, we discussed this in much more detail. That meeting is available on the website, so if the board goes through this at a rapid pace, it's because they've already gone through it previously. So we encourage you those viewers at home to look at the Rules and Regulations Committee meeting, but also the Work Session Committee meeting from last week. Those are both available, and that's it. Any questions regarding those? Per policy, it's required to go through 2 readings. So if this is approved tonight, it then has to go do this all over again next month, and at that point, then it's approved.
Any questions for Tom before we go into the motions? Nope. All right, we need a motion on approving policy 2.09.
I move to approve the new policy 2.09, appointing an interim director. This is the first reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, David. We've talked about this a couple times, so I don't think anything discussion, but if there is any discussion, no, we'll go to a vote. Oh, Deborah, sorry, go ahead.
Just quickly, I just think that we had a really good opportunity to go through this really recently. It's very fresh in our minds, and we made some tweaks based on our experiences that I think just really refined it, so I think it's a good move.
Yep, agreed. All right, all in favor of for the first approval of policy 2.09? All right, thank you. You got that, 9-0. All right, motion for policy 2.10, meeting to elect the board chair and vice chair.
I'll make a motion approving new policy 2.10, meeting to elect the board chair and vice chair. This is the first reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Jackie. Jeff will second. Again, discussion? Ditto on what you said the last time. Gotcha. All in favor for the first reading? 9-0, thank you. Declaration.
Next, we also went through and made or are recommending changes to the declaration summary notes, the articles of incorporation summary notes, bylaws, and policies. The majority of these changes have to do with Blue Crane buying out the interest of Cooper. We've included comments in all of these documents. Also, my title was changed earlier this year, and the policies reference the Chief Operating Officer, so we changed that to Chief Executive Officer. I also want to note that with regards to the declaration and the articles, those are changes to the summary notes. They are not changes to those documents, because changing those documents would require a monumental vote of the membership in order to change. And so also all these discussions were conducted at the Rules and Regulations Committee that I mentioned just a few moments ago. So those viewers at home, please view that. And also at the work session. And finally, you'll notice that for the policies, these changes impact multiple policies. But it's the same changes over and over again. And so in consultation with our general counsel, we felt that having one vote to change all the policies was sufficient, because we're not making any material changes to individual policies. We're just making the same changes throughout. Any questions?
Thank you. All right, we need a motion for the declaration summary notes changes for the two. Thank you, David. Sandy, second, thank you. Any further discussion on that? Nope. All in favor of those changes? 9-0. Now the motion to approve the Articles of Incorporation summary notes.
I make a motion approving the proposed changes to the Articles of Incorporation summary notes. This is the first reading of 2 required readings.
Thanks, Sandy. Jeff, second. Any discussion on that one? Go to a vote. All in favor? Thank you. 9-0. We do bylaws too, don't we?
Bylaws, yeah,
Yep.
2 more to go.
2 more to go. At least it's not round robin like we had to last
Oh,
year.
yeah.
All right, motion for the changes in the bylaws, first and the second reading for 2 readings. Need a motion.
I move to approve the changes to the bylaws. This is the first reading of 2 required readings.
Thank you, Jeff. Deborah, second. Any discussion on that one? All right, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Thank you. That brings those to a close. Back to you, Tom.
Policies.
Oh, sorry, one more. Where is it?
It's,
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion approving the changes to the bundled policies. This is the first reading of the 2 required readings.
Thank you. I misread. Any discussion on those? Yes, JB, no?
I'm just grateful that we're not having to read every policy.
Yes, exactly. All right, all in favor of that change? 9-0, thank you. Now, back to Tom.
Next up is the recommendations from the Charitable Giving Committee. They're allocated $25,000 per year, and they met just earlier this month and made the recommendations that are included in your board packet, and this board packet is available on our website. I will note that per policy, JB will recuse herself because she is on the board of the community TV, but JB does have Jerry's vote. So if JB raises her hand, she's voting for Jerry, not for herself. She's abstaining, and those are the recommendations.
Perfect. Okay, need a motion for approving the Charitable Giving Committee's recommendation.
I move to approve the donation recommendations submitted by the Charitable Giving Committee.
Thank you, Jeff. David, thank you. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, I have a couple comments if you don't mind.
Sure.
I support what the committee has recommended. We have a really strong committee, very dedicated members, and I think they did a very thorough job on that. I am happy to hear that we're going to be looking at the policy a little bit more closely. Just digging into it, I think there could be a little better alignment between the application and the policy, just some minor things. And I think it's important that we understand, and they may already do this in conversation, but ensure that as we think through, because our community is growing, there's more and more need, all this need is very worthwhile, and so the decisions are going to become more and more difficult. And understanding the breadth or the reach of the organization throughout the community versus maybe something more siloed. And then the opposite effect. Is the money staying within our community, or are we also helping surrounding communities? I just think are things that should be very carefully talked through so that we all understand and we're all on the same page, would be my thoughts.
So I've already, Doug and I completed a draft copy of the reworked policy. I think that we've addressed those issues to a certain extent. We gutted the original, and I'm not 100%, well, pretty darn close. And so I think that when the committee reviews this at the September meeting, I think that all those points are valid. We also, I provided the version to the committee itself, and got their comment. I got their comments before I sent it off to the rules and regs. So I think we've addressed all of your concerns, but definitely that's why it's a work in progress. And if we did miss anything, when you see a copy of it, please voice that.
Thank you for your work on that, appreciate it.
And, you know, that's just a matter of timing and things changing so much. It was just time to review that and take a different look, because it's been in place for a very long time now.
Well, it was, although there's been minor tweaks over the years, the bulk of the existing policy was created before we even ventured into this. And so we just didn't have that experience. Now we have several years of experience, and we've seen the successes and the challenges. And I think that the policy that we've developed, I think, addresses those. So,
Thank you, Tom.
yeah.
It's a good thing for the community.
Still need a vote.
Yes, we need, yeah, that was the discussion, so we'll go to a vote. All in favor?
This is Jerry.
Yeah, 8-0, JB recused.
Outstanding. Next item is we have. What?
We had
Yeah,
a motion.
we did.
Yes, and then during discussion,
Definitely.
that were brought up. That's right.
You were asleep.
Next one up is we're requesting for a replacement vehicle for the water department. The work truck was involved in an accident. It was not the POA's fault. It was the other motorist. We are requesting the purchase of a 2023 Ram 1500 Classic Tradesman four-wheel drive quad cab. That's a mouthful. Chip is a little bit easier.
It is. Sure is. A lot cheaper too.
Sure, yeah. We are anticipating the vehicle will cost, we got multiple bids, $49,900. We have not yet received the final ruling from the insurance company. The Kelly Blue Book on the existing vehicle, or the prior vehicle, is $13,790. We're estimating for this motion $10,000. We just wanted to be super conservative just in case. So at the end of the day, we are asking for $39,900, but no action will be taken until we get the final answer from the insurance company in the unlikely event that they decide to repair it instead of total it. In all probability, they will total it because it was a hit on both sides.
Thank you. We're just happy that our employee is okay.
Yeah, we covered that at the last meeting, but yes, the employee is okay. And everybody involved was, the multiple vehicles, everybody was involved is okay.
All right, so we need a motion for the expenditure for the new vehicle.
I make a motion authorizing the expenditure of up to $39,900 for the purchase of a replacement work truck for the water department, provided the insurance company determines the damaged vehicle is beyond repair.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Deborah, second, thank you. Any further discussion on that? All right, go to a vote. All in favor? 9-0, thank you.
And part of the reason we brought this up now is we didn't want to wait for the insurance company ruling, which we haven't received yet, and then we'd have to wait all the way till next month, and this isn't a work with vehicle we need to replace, so. Next up is the Recreation Committee has recommended the nomination of Liz Howe to the committee.
Another rec person, perfect. We need a motion for Liz.
I'll make a motion affirming the nomination of Liz Howie to the Recreation Committee.
Thank you, Kathleen. Second. Sandy? Any discussion from the ex-rec group? Nope. All right, all in favor? 9-0, thank you.
Next, we have a walk-in memo that was on your desk when you got here. is this is a new requirement for the ABC Board, requiring that we get in the minutes the approval of our application for a private club permit for Tanya Creek Practice Center so that we can sell distilled spirits in addition to serving beer and wine. I included a snippet of Tommy's email to me and a suggested or recommended motion. They've never required this before, and now they're requiring, yes.
Ever changing.
And this is a change even since BB 65, right?
Absolutely.
That's crazy. That's government.
I move that the board approves the pursuit of a private club permit from the Arkansas ABC so that we can serve distilled spirits in addition to beer and wine at Tanya Creek Practice Center.
Thank you, Jeff. Deborah, you second? Deborah, second?
Where's the samples?
Exactly what type of distilled spirits are we talking
Yeah,
about?
right, exactly. Other than samples, is there any other discussion on that? Yeah, the ever-changing goalposts. All in favor of approving this for the board? 9-0. Thank you.
And that's all I had.
All right. Time for the announcements. The next JAC Recreation meeting will be September 9th at 4 p.m. here in the boardroom. Lakes JAC will be Wednesday, September 11th at 2 o'clock here in the boardroom. Golf follows that, the 11th of September at 4. Rules and Regs meeting Thursday, September 12th at 1:30 here in the boardroom. Board of Directors GM meeting, which is a closed meeting, is September 12th at 2:30. The first tour of the Tanya Creek Practice Facility, that's coming along really nice. September 17th at 4 p.m. at 10 Nature Trail, which is down by Tanya Creek. Board of Directors regular session is Thursday the 19th, or sorry, the work session is September 19th at 9 here in the boardroom, and the regular session is September 26th, crazy. It's 6 p.m. here in the boardroom, and also live streamed, every one of those. So, anybody have anything else? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a comment on the storms we had last Friday night. I'm sure it's everywhere within the POA, but the couple of places I've experienced, I think the work that was done to restore our services to our members is tremendous. And I think people go, I even went out, we had no power and it's hot, so we said, we'll go squat on the golf course and went up to Dogwood and Brittany. They were out of power, but they were still running. They figured a way to serve our members even without power out there. And just the tree damage out at Highlands, I know there's a lot of other trees off the trails removed, and I just think they deserve kudos for getting our amenities back in shape for our members as soon as they could.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I was getting photos from Trey when it was still dark out, because we had some damage to the marina. I saw a number of our work crew cutting up trees at Lake Point at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Jack and his crew have put together these portable packages where they can go and they can use a generator to get the credit cards going, to get everything temporarily operating, because unfortunately it all happens too often. So the team really pulled together, and Greg and his team up at Highlands, they got the brunt of it. Kyle had it a little bit less so at Scottsdale, but Highlands really got hammered with a lot of trees down, and then they've done a really good job, and we finally got reopened today. So good job to them.
Along those lines, I'd just like to mention, during a minor lull in that Friday night storm that seemed to continue, Greg was coming through on the driving the course, checking damage already, and he had stated to me that he had left his home to try to beat the storm to shut the irrigation system down to prevent it from getting lightning damage, which it sounds like we didn't get. Wow. But you know, that's an effort that's going above and beyond. They care. Graham was out helping Sunday. He was running equipment, trying to clean the golf course. So a lot of that stuff goes unnoticed and unseen by the membership. And I just like to point out that those guys do go the extra mile. So.
They really did, and they're working on additional stuff, you know, because right now, we lost 30 chargers because of the lightning hit. We're gonna try and do some additional electrical work to hopefully prevent that from happening in the future. And the was it C dock or B dock? The gangway is gone, toast. But very much appreciate it. The team really jumped in to get us back, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Good call out, Jackie. Good call out. Anything else? All right. With that, we stand adjourned.